Yesterday, I released a video going over the top 10 cards from White Flare. It's really interesting to see what cards have kind of landed in that top 10 and where they might be headed over the next few months as more product gets opened up. And in today's video, we're going to be doing the same thing, the top 10 singles from Black Bolt. I think this set has been a little bit more interesting, and I think a lot of you would agree with me. And the main reason this set is a little more interesting is that Seismitoad illustration rare, which we'll talk about in a little bit. It's one of the top cards in the set, so we're going to have to go through a few to get there first. And just real quick before we get into the top 10, my name's Trevor. I make videos like this every single week here on YouTube, talking about the Pokemon card market, talking about sets, what singles are hot, what singles are dropping. So if that type of content interests you, consider hitting that subscribe button. We're getting close to 6K, and I'm hoping we can hit there by the end of August. All right, first up, we've got the Haxorus. This is the only illustration rare other than that Seismitoad on today's list. It is continuously falling, though. I don't know if this one will stay in the top 10. I think a lot of these illustration rares are going to continue to drop as more and more get opened up. Like I said in yesterday's video, there are about 65 IRs per set, having a pull rate of about 1 in 6. So like I said, Haxorus has been steadily falling. It came out the gates at about $63. Right now, $39, and seems like it's going to continue to head down to $30. I do think, though, this is one of the better illustration rares in this set, but it's going to be interesting to just see where all these end up. If all of them are going to be like $5 to $10 in the next 6 months, could very well be possible depending on how much product gets opened up. Another card that's just been continuously dropping is the Superior Special Illustration Rare. I do think the artwork is really nice on this card, but it's dropped. It never really got too expensive either. About that first day of release, it was sitting around $55. Right now, 47, 48, around there, but looks like it's like steadily dropping. This one might even go below the Haxorus. I'd imagine by the end of this week, it's going to be about $40. Very similar graph. This is interesting. With White Flare, it seems like a lot of the cards dropped but have leveled out over the last few days. With Black Bolt, it seems like they're continuously dropping, but that might be due to the chase for that Seismitoad. I think a lot more people are opening up Black Bolt over White Flare just because there's a better chance of getting, I mean, there's more cards that are more expensive. So if you're going to hit that Seismitoad, you could also hit Victini, Zekrom, or the Zekrom SIR as well. So there are a few more cards you could hit to score big opening these products. Meloetta is not one of those cards, though. This one hasn't dropped a ton, but it is still dropping. It came out the gates about $56. Right now, it's about $50. Seems to just continuously be dropping. This one might end up going down to $40 as well. I'm not sure if it would end up being more popular than Superior. Looking at both the artworks, I'd probably rather Superior, but I'd imagine they're going to be pretty similar in value, especially when looking at the next 6 months. Now the Kyurem, on the other hand, dropped pretty quickly, but has since slowly gone back up. I do think the artwork on this card is really cool. I think Kyurem as a Pokemon is also really cool. I feel like this one has potential to at least stay consistent at about $65 where it is right now. It came out the gates with a lot of potential, though. That first one sold was about $130. Will it go back up to $130 though? I highly doubt it. I feel like a set like this, it's going to be one of those sets where there's a massive amount of it opened up and sitting on shelves. I could see like a big Black Friday deal or something like that for Black Bolt and White Flare, maybe even all the way back to Prismatic Evolutions. So I'd expect it to stay, at least below $100, most likely indefinitely, if I'm being honest. Got N's Plan for about $68. This one does look like it's kind of found its home at around $70. I'd imagine long term, as more gets opened up, it's going to slowly decrease. I'd realistically imagine over the next 6 months going into the new year is when a lot of these cards will bottom out. It really depends, though, how long they plan on printing this set. It seems like a ton of it hit the market, like a lot more than Prismatic, but that might also just be this set being less popular than Prismatic. But I've had plenty of opportunities to pick this up. Every LGS store I've gone to has had it on the shelves. Walmart has consistently had it in stock on their website, at least here in Canada. Even Amazon has been restocking it at decent prices. So you'll have chances to pick this up. It just depends if it's one massive wave or if they'll have another wave drop in the new year and then maybe even at the 1 year point. It could cause all these singles to just be crushed and hold next to no value for the long term, other than those top few that we're going to see as we go a little bit deeper into this top 10 list. Genesect is a cool artwork, but do you think a lot of people are going to be chasing a Genesect SIR over these BWR cards or Reshiram and Zekrom SIRs? I don't think so. $70, like realistically, I think the Kyurem is better than this card. I feel like the art style, the colors are really nice on Genesect, but I wouldn't expect it to hold this $70 value long term. I'd expect this one, again, just like everything else, to keep on dropping. Everything's going to go. Don't be buying these singles right now unless you're comfortable paying for this card. It's for the PC, or you find a really clean copy you're thinking about grading. Those are the only real variables I would consider when thinking about picking these up. If you just want it because you think it's going to go up, now is not the time to pick it up. The Zekrom SIR, I talked about the Reshiram in yesterday's video, of course, with white flare, and I thought it was a really nice artwork, and I do think it's better than this Zekrom, but Zekrom is also really, really nice. Right now, it's about $210, and again, has just been steadily falling. I would expect it to go below $200 by the end of this week, with booster bundles coming out in about a week and a half as well. These cards will keep on going down. I do feel like Zekrom is going to stay here as the most expensive SIR, but I don't think the value is really going to be much more than $150. I feel like it'll hit that number at some point over the next 6 months and kind of stick around there for a while. Next up, the card everyone's been talking about and talking too much about, in my opinion, is the Seismitoad Illustration Rare. I pulled this card on last Friday's live stream. If you want to join our Rip and Ship live streams, we've got a special one coming up this week. We're going to be ripping open a Chilling Reign booster box. I've got packs available right now, hyperraretcg.com. There's a link in the description to check it out. We've got one box available. We're hoping to sell all the packs. So if you're interested in getting some Chilling Reign ripped here on the channel this Friday, make sure to grab those packs before they sell out. And maybe we'll pull something cool like the Blaziken or that Galarian Moltres, my personal favorite from Chilling Reign. But this Seismitoad, man, I pulled this card and everyone was like, oh, dude, it's going to go up. You should sell it now. It's going to go down. Like, everyone is very conflicted. I think a lot of people are grasping at straws talking about this silly little 666 thing on the card. In my opinion, and I think anyone who's been in the Pokemon hobby for more than like 6 months, we all share the same opinion. There is no way this card is going to get banned. Like, you could pull this tomorrow. You could pull it next week. You could pull it in 6 months. There's enough product out there that they're not just going to stop printing the Seismitoad in the next print wave, or they're going to recall the products, take out all the Seismitoads, and then send them back out again. Like, it's not going to happen. You've also got to think about, first of all, everyone's just talking about this 666 the last couple days, but this set has been out for 2 weeks, and it's been out in Japan for what, 7-8 weeks now, and no one mentioned it. It also would have got talked about, like, during the QC process, the development of the set. They would have looked at every artwork, and if something was wrong, they would tell you that it's wrong. I'm sure if this was a problem to the Pokemon Company, they would have made Shinji Kanda remove that from the design before it was released in Japan. The sentiment is most of these sets are developed 6 months to 2 years in advance. Like, they might have had the concept 2 years ago. Maybe artwork was just finishing up 6 months ago, but they have to be printed well in advance before they get packed up for release day. Like, they don't get printed like 2 weeks before release. They have had plenty of time, like I said, probably a few months to determine whether or not this card needed to be pulled, and they determined it's fine. It's just some little curly whirly guys. Here's some vines. I don't think it's anything crazy. There is no way this is going to be a $600 banned card. Doesn't make sense. Opossum Bud made a great video about this. I don't normally watch Opossum Bud, but check it out. At least check that video out, and maybe it'll slap some sense into the few of you that think this card is going to be a huge banned, like, gold mine for Pokemon investors. I don't think so. Really thought about selling mine though, because the price point is $217. I think it is kind of crazy considering the Magikarp raw is about that price as well. Would you rather Seismitoad or would you rather Magikarp? I would hope that 10 out of 10 of you would decide Magikarp is better than Seismitoad, but these numbers are not relating that, so I do think this card is going to crash massively. I'd expect this card to be sub $100 in the next 3 to 6 months. My copy was pretty clean. Instead of selling it, I decided to send it to PSA. We'll see. Like I said, I pulled it out of a pack, but for myself, like I'd already opened everyone's packs on stream. I had one Black Bolt pack left loose. Figured I'd open it up for myself to end the night. Kind of interested to see though if it comes back from PSA as a 10. Figured, you know what, it was on the fence. It didn't look perfect. It looked better than your typical 9s. It looked better than some 10s I have. So I figured, you know what, I'll grade it. We'll see. Maybe we get lucky and we get a 10. If it's a 9, whatever. It's not like my cost in on this card is much at all. I'll just get rid of it when it comes back. Regardless if it's a 9 or a 10, I'd be happy to get rid of it. But yeah, basically $217, absolutely no way. I'd expect in 3 to 6 months when everyone kind of becomes more level-headed with this card and the kind of the concept, I guess, behind this card getting banned, it's going to drop pretty drastically and then just kind of chill and everyone's going to forget about it. It's crazy though that the Seismitoad's number 3. Like that's absolutely insane. And the fact that it went up from $60 to over $200. But anyways, Victini BWR is number 2. Kind of interesting because the Victini in White Flare is number 1. But the one from Black Bolt right now, $440, and it has been steady. I don't think there's been enough of these really opened up to determine the value, and like I mentioned in yesterday's video, the long-term value, I just don't know if it's there. I don't know where these are going to land. They could drop all the way down to $200. They could go all the way up to, $750 for all I know. It's uncharted territory with a new rarity, especially being like somewhat popular Pokemon and very unique cards like this monochromatic color, just like red and white. Like, that's all it is. Beautiful card though. Very interesting to see where it goes. I definitely would like to pick one up, but I don't think I'd be picking up the Victini personally. I really like the Reshiram, and I also really like this Zekrom. I saw a couple of them at a show I was at the other day. Really want one of these days, but as I've mentioned before, I'm not going to pick one up until they drop a lot, or if I find one for a price that I think is a good deal for me. Right now, the Zekrom's going for about $463. Looks like it's dropping though. This one might be headed towards $400, but again, it's realistically going to take a long time to see how difficult these are to hit and where the price is going to end up. I think more people are opening up Black Bolt, so we're going to see more Zekroms and the Black Bolt Victinis hitting the market. So those will be the ones to watch and kind of, feel out White Flare. I think, like I said, with the Seismitoad, more people are cracking this set to try to, hit big, hit that Seismitoad, sell it before the hype disappears on that card. And doing that, realistically, there's going to be more Zekroms pulled than Reshirams. At least that would be my expectation. And again, no idea where this could land. I think give it 6 months and we'll kind of see its bottom, but it could take longer than that. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today's video. Let me know your thoughts on the Seismitoad illustration rare. What are your thoughts on this whole 666 conspiracy theory stuff, or do you think realistically it could get banned? Personally, I don't see that ever happening with a card like this. They've had plenty of chances to pull the plug on it months ago. They haven't yet. It's out there, it's in our sets. There's not much they could do now except for decide not to print it in the future, which I really don't think they're going to bother doing. But either way, very interesting card, very interesting conversation in the community this week on that Seismitoad. Who would have thought Seismitoad is the card everyone's talking about from Black Bolt and White Flare? But yeah, one more reminder, if you want to pick up packs for the Chilling Reign Rip and Ship this Friday, check out that link in the description, hyperraretcg.com. I'll have packs available, 1 booster box of Chilling Reign, so if you want packs, make sure you get them before they sell out. And yeah, that'll be it today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, we'll see you in the next one. Peace!